Welcome, seriously welcome to a Jon L fragrance review. You know what? For the 100th video, I thought I'd do something a bit different. I would try and explain to you why you are so welcome to this channel, why you'll always receive the warmest ever welcome, and why I, Jon L, am so grateful for your company, for you watching this video, for everything else. I'm so grateful. Let me try and give you a little bit background as to why I'm so grateful. So this is it. Go back to lockdown 2020. You know, you can remember it well. The original lockdown, not the reformulated one, but the original lockdown when we were all literally stuck in our homes. You know what? You tidy the house and you do a few jobs and you get everything perfect, and then you're looking for other jobs to do. And I probably, like a lot of people, sort of ended up doing a wardrobe clear out. And this is what happened. Seriously, I decided to pull everything out of my wardrobe and then put it all back in, maybe sort of filtering a few things out, tidying up, chucking a few things away, and, you know, just generally sort of sorting a few things out. So I pulled all the clothes out, and then I started pulling the bottles of fragrance out. And I kid you not, even I didn't know how many I'd got. You know, it was bottle after bottle. And what was happening with these bottles, literally, I'd pick it up and I'd start talking about this bottle. Oh man, I remember this. This one does this, this and this, and it smells like this, this. And I was almost kind of doing miniature reviews on each bottle. Seriously, it took me nearly all day just to empty my wardrobe. Massive, massive collection. And I thought to myself, Leggy, pardon the pun, you've got this bottled up. I've got no one else close to me who shares the same passion, the same enthusiasm for fragrance. I've got no one to share it with. And yet I've got all this collection, which I enjoy personally, and I just wanted to share it with people. Now, you'll have to forgive me. I'm a little bit old school. I haven't got things like InstaSnap, Faceagram, Jungle Book. I haven't got any of the social media. So I thought, Leggy, YouTube, yeah, I do YouTube. Put a YouTube channel, share it, you know, do a few reviews, tell people about your fragrance and see what happens. Now, I've got to be honest, I had absolutely no idea. I started doing a few reviews and eventually I worked out how to turn the comments on. Okay, come on, Leggy. It's just a tick in a box, but I'm not that sort of tech-minded sort of thing. Once I did that, it was like, wow, that changed the whole game. And I'm getting emotional now because suddenly I was getting messages from Malaysia, from China, from America, from Russia, from Italy, from Romania, from Bulgaria. You know what I mean? It was crazy. And people would send me messages like, thanks for your review, Leggy. Have you tried this, or have you tried that, or what do you think of this? Oh, man, for me, that opened up a whole new world. It opened up just unimaginable conversation with everyone else who's loving this fragrance, who's appreciating this fragrance, to be able to comment, to be able to chat, to be able to advise. And you know, when I got my first comment, someone said, Leggy, I've just ordered that one you recommend. I've tried it and you were spot on. It is amazing. I'm like, oh man, for me, that was kind of like job done. I was just so appreciative. So what I want to do for the 100th video is just to tell you how much I really, really appreciate everything. Literally, I am your humble servant. This is a hobby which I'm sharing with you on YouTube, and I appreciate, you know what, I get emotional every time a thumbs up goes there. Every time a comment comes in, every time a subscription hits, you know what? I am just so truly honoured. I'm truly grateful, and I seriously appreciate it. I know I say it on all my videos, but I seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I absolutely appreciate everything. And above everything else, being able to share it, you know, whether one person watches a video or whether, I don't know, 100 people watch it, for me, that's kind of, it's like the release, it's kind of letting it out, it's kind of like sharing my experience and hopefully getting a few comments back or thumbs up if people go, you know what, Leggy, you're right. Or even a thumbs down saying, Leggy, you know what, it doesn't do that on my skin. Do you know what? For me, it has been absolute awesomeness the last couple of years, and I really seriously appreciate it. So I thought, just for the second half of this sort of review, it's not really a review, but you know what I mean, this sort of heads up, this chat about fragrance, I would just give a few pieces of advice. Okay, pieces of advice that over the years, I mean, I've been into fragrance since I was about 12 or 13, and I've got, I said, this massive collection. Literally, I've probably scratched the surface of my collection so far. Let me just give you just a few pieces of honest advice. You see, you can go to other channels and they're sort of professional reviewers, you know, with millions of subscribers, but I guess they get sort of sponsorship, they get a little bit of pressure to sell this and to sell that. This channel is seriously boots on the ground. This is honest, this is real, and this is me sharing a hobby. So there's no pressure, there's no stress at this channel. Do you know what? Seriously, I'm not trying to sell you anything, I'm just trying to share the hobby. Okay. My first piece of advice, and I guess maybe the bigger reviewers don't sort of look at these sort of down-to-earth pieces of advice. So let me just from the heart give you some advice. My first piece of advice, and you may say this is something or nothing, Leggy, I think it's really important. My first piece of advice is never ever go into debt for fragrance. You know this, you log on and it says, buy now, pay later. Buy now, pay over the next 12 months. Do you know what? Please, 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 I beg of you, do not do that, because it's the slippery slope, because it's an easy way to get into debt. Now, I appreciate in life there are certain things you may have to go into debt for. Fragrance is not one of them. And you'd say to me, like, but I want fragrance. Right. If you search this channel and many other channels, you will find literally hundreds of fragrances for 11, 12, 15, 20 pounds. So my suggestion to you is, if you're going to do this buy now, pay later, because you can't actually afford this whatever bottle of fragrance you're buying, do one or two things. Either save up and wait till you can afford it, or adjust what you are buying to something which is something which you can afford. I say there's fragrances. Seriously, I've got fragrances which cost me £12, which blow apart many which cost £150. So seriously, do not be a fragrance snob. Okay, that's another piece of advice. Do not be a fragrance snob. Do not expect that your Chanels and that your Tom Fords and your Dior's and all the big names are going to be so much better than the likes of Armaf and Latifa and the likes of the sort of budget brands. Do not assume that, because these budget brands, and I've reviewed a lot of them, check the reviews out, trust me, sometimes they are so way much better at a price that most people can afford. All right, that's my first piece of advice. The second piece of advice is this. Okay, this is the situation. You find a fragrance which you fall in love with. You know what? It ticks every single box. You love this fragrance and you want to wear it. But the problem is, you maybe get half an hour to an hour before it's kind of fizzled and gone. And you go, I'm not going to wear that, even though I love the fragrance, because it doesn't last. Right. My suggestion to you is, if that fragrance ticks box for you, then get yourself one of these little beauties, a Travelo. There you go. Carry a Travelo with you to extend the life of your fragrance. And even the fragrances where you get sort of 4 or 5 hours, but you're going to be out longer than that, carry a Travelo with you. Please go for the proper branded one. The cheap ones that you can buy for like a £5 on eBay, I've had them leak, I've had the tops pop off that don't sort of stay on, and I've had them where the squirter just doesn't squirt. Okay, so the proper Travelo, I've never had one of those fail on me. And if you search this channel, you'll see a full review for Travelo. So extend the life of your fragrance. Do not let it stress you out that it doesn't last. That's my second piece of advice. All right. The third piece of advice, and this is a practical one, please keep your fragrances out of sunlight. Sunlight hitting that fragrance rapidly deteriorates that beautiful potion inside the bottle. Also, don't keep exposing them in the bathroom, say, to hot and cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. Try and regulate the temperature. Keep them behind wardrobe doors, keep them in a cupboard, keep them in a drawer, keep them somewhere that's sort of fairly cool, sort of room temperature to cool, but out of sunlight. That will help your fragrance in its big bottle last so much longer before it starts to maybe get little bits inside and sort of turn off. Okay, that's just a practical piece of advice. The next piece of advice is this, okay, have several fragrances in your collection. Now, I don't mean go out and spend thousands of pounds. I mean, have at least 2 or 3 fragrances in your collection, please. Because what happens is, after you've worn it for a couple of days, your nose sort of switches off to it, so you don't, as the wearer, enjoy it. Also, it's good to have a break from fragrance, a fragrance holiday, as I call it. In other words, you wear one and when you put it on, oh, this is great, you can smell it. And then eventually your nose sort of switches off to that smell. You go kind of nose blind and you can't smell it and you kind of lose all the benefits of that fragrance. And what happens is you wear another fragrance and suddenly, wow, that other fragrance is so much stronger. And you, after a couple of days, you go back to the other one. It's like, oh, that one's strong. Okay. Your nose does switch off to these fragrances after a while and it sort of starts to ignore that beautiful fragrance. Nothing wrong with the fragrance, it's just the way your body deals with things. Okay, so have several fragrances in your collection and rotate them. Okay, you know, maybe Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I mean? Just rotate these fragrances. Don't just stick with one fragrance because it just ends up doing nothing for you. Okay, come back to a fragrance that you haven't worn for a few days and trust me, you go, oh wow, I've forgotten it was this good. Solid piece of advice. Have a fragrance holiday. Right. Okay, now the next one is possibly a little bit of a controversial one, but you know, at this channel, there is no stress, there's no pressure. And you know this thing about whether it's unisex or whether a man can wear it or whether a woman could wear it, or for the guys, it's too feminine. Okay, at this channel, there is no stress about that because I'm a laid back kind of guy. And I've come to terms with it. Let me give you my heartfelt feelings on whether something is unisex. Is this: if you like the smell, if it works good on your skin, then wear it. And I don't care whether people say, oh Leggy, it leans a bit feminine for me. I don't care, because normally after half an hour to an hour, if it's something like a Mancera or Montal, it's kind of become unisex anyway. But whether it is or not, if you like the smell, if you enjoy it, and it works good on your skin, then enjoy it, wear it, okay? Trust me, you will get the benefits. And don't let anyone push you around as to whether it can be worn by a man or only can be worn by a woman. Don't let anyone push you around. You choose, you smell it, and then you wear it with confidence and enjoy it. You see, fragrances are there to be enjoyed. They're not there to be stressed about as to whether you can or can't wear them. Just enjoy it if you like that smell. Okay. Now that leaves me on to one final point, and that is never judge a fragrance in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Because the majority of fragrances, when you spray them on, they are very, very different an hour later. And if it's something like a Mancera or Montal, 2 or 3 hours later, it's gone through phases, it's changed a lot. Okay, and there's some fragrances, I admit, are linear. You put them on and pretty much that sort of going on smell is pretty much where it will be. But don't always judge a fragrance at the first. You know, quite often I'll spray something for someone and they'll go, oh, it's too strong, it's too strong. I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's got to start off strong because you want it to last. So don't be influenced by the first small section of that fragrance. Allow it to live on your skin and you will appreciate it the more you wear it. Okay, that's all my words of advice gone. All right, I'm all sold out. No, I'm not. I got one last piece of advice. And you know, I'll probably say this in the majority of the videos, but this seriously is from the heart. You know, at the end of a video, when I say wear fragrance every day, you know what? That's probably the best piece of advice I, Johnny Legg, with my massive collection of fragrances, that is the best, most solid, most amazing advice I can give you. All right? All the others sort of pale into insignificance. My advice to you is, now, this is where a lot of people go wrong. They only wear fragrance on special occasions. All right? Now, to me, let's try and make every day a special occasion. You know, you look out and you go, oh, it's a bit grey, it's a bit damp, it's a bit dull, it's a Wednesday, it's a midweek, it's a something and nothing. Make it something with a fragrance. You know what? Put a fragrance on. And I don't care whether you're a teacher, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a sports instructor, whether you're a mechanic, whether you're a checkout operator, whether you are a warehouse operator, whether you're a driving instructor, it doesn't matter what job you do. That fragrance that you put on early in the morning before you've left your house, that fragrance, if you've chosen a good one, will keep a smile on your face throughout the day. Because, okay, let's be honest, there is no such thing as an easy profession. All right. And at some point during that day, you will just get a little bit stressed. You know, maybe it's an awkward customer that you're dealing with, or if you're a driving instructor, someone who just cannot get a grip of clutch control. Whatever it is will just sort of push you to the limits, and you'll just think, oh man, I can't wait for this day to be over. And at that point, when you just, oh, this is crazy, when you just warm up in that moment of stress, that fragrance that you put on in the comfort of your home many, many hours before is there just saying, relax, chill, and enjoy the fragrance. So, that is my honest, hand on heart, Johnny Legg advice to you. Wear fragrance every single day. I mean, I'm an extreme. I go out and wash the car, I go and mow the lawn, I go on the treadmill, whatever, and I wear a fragrance. I go to the shops, I wear a fragrance. I go to work, I wear a fragrance. You know what? Maybe that's an extreme, but I've always got a smile on my face. You ask my neighbours, you ask my friends, you ask anyone, I've always got a smile on my face. And that is one of the reasons why. So, I'm going to leave you with those pieces of advice. I'm sorry it's a long video. If you've struggled through all of this video, I really, really appreciate it. And I've just got to say once more, thank you. Whether you've been a subscriber from the first video or whether you're sort of a recent subscriber, I have love, I have respect, and I thank you. I thank you for everything that you've given back to me in terms of comments, in terms of thumbs up, in terms of subscription, in terms of just watching this video. Because for me, this has been an amazing couple of years and I really, Johnny Legg, really appreciate it. So me, Johnny Legg, I am your humble servant. I will review fragrances for you and I will tell you as much about them in an open, honest way as I can. So, I'd like you to stay safe. I would like you to stay happy, and for that purpose, I'd like you to spray fragrance every single day. And I hope to see you next time for a proper fragrance review, because I've still got a mass of fragrances to review. Goodbye.